Chance and I did not plan on having surgery together, but it did wind up working out that way. We both went down to Pensacola. I think I went first, and then he went right after me, and we've been able to kind of rehab together early in the morning. It's been a sweet time, really. It's been a real sweet time to be with him and go through some of that stuff with him, and didn't plan it that way. He's doing great. He's limping a lot less than I am. He had a little bit more work done, but he's a little younger, and still we're thinking like a 3 or 4 week timetable right now. So Al's back, which is great, and I'm fine. I'm doing okay. I'm still hobbling around a little bit, but we're going to be good. We're going to be okay. Special day today, just a really special day today. In my wildest dreams, would I think that we would have a pro day and have 28 out of 30 clubs here. Again, it's been that way the last 4 or 5 years, and I just cannot take it for granted. It just wasn't that long ago. I was a graduate at Boston College and in the School of Management, and I knew when the finance firms or the accounting firms or the big marketing firms would come on campus and they would interview students for jobs. That was a big deal. And BC had a pretty big management program, and I kind of equate it to that. You come to Auburn, you can win championships, you can develop into a professional player, and you just couldn't say that some time ago. So it's a great day. They're not going to play their way in the NBA today, but they're going to be able. The guys are going to get their eyes on them. They're going to be able to see their up close and personal, watch him move, watch him shoot, watch him interact, watch him practice, and get a better feel, and then see how that stuff translates to games. Zepp is out today, just got a little stomach virus, so he won't be working out. Unfortunate, because he's played well, and like I say, he wouldn't have played his way into the NBA today, but I'm sorry, he's not going to get a chance to be seen. So.
Is that your message to you guys, that to try to take the pressure off them, that you don't have to wow somebody today?
Well, I mean, but by the same token, then what are your practice habits? How do you move? How do you interact with coaches? How do you handle the officials? Well, officials out there today. How do you handle adversity? How do you get to the next play? And so they're going to get, because look, there's not a head coach in the NBA here, but every one of these scouts has got to answer to a head coach. And when the time comes and answer, like, that's why it was so easy for Walker and Jabari. One of my lines to all these guys, I'm just telling you right now, okay, your head coach is going to like coaching Jabari. They're going to like coaching Walker. That's a little comforting for a scout to put his head down on the pillow at night knowing, because he's going to come to practice on time and early, and he's going to take care of his business, and he's going to want to get coached, and he's going to be able to do real things. And that scout's never, the head coach is never going to turn to that scout and go, what in the world did you bring? So they'll see some of that today.
You've had several of these at Auburn. When you look back at some of the guys you've been able to put into the league, how valuable were days like this for guys like Jared and Bryce, or like Walker and Jabari and JT?
There were valuable days, but Walker Kessler was out last year for this day. So again, they're not vital for the kids. Nobody's going to play their way in. I suppose you could play your way out. I mean, I suppose you could practice your way out. We had by firsthand knowledge, if a scout came on a particular day when one of our players had a really bad day, you don't lose that overnight. And so, sometimes it can happen. But no, it's good. And then these guys also sometimes will get a chance to talk to scouts that have been to other places, and they'll get a feel for our size, our speed, our athleticism, our length. And of course, I've already talked to a bunch of them who have been to Arkansas or Alabama or Tennessee or Kentucky, and they just, rave about how good they all are. And they're pretty good.
Bruce, when you look at back in practice the last couple of weeks, who sort of stood out as playing well, playing improved from last year?
Wendell's been consistent. Wendell's really been consistent, and I like when maybe your hardest workers or one of your hardest workers is standing out and winning drills and things like that. KD has been his effort has been more consistent. The frontline guys, it's somebody different every day. And I think it's because they're all good. And so it's going to be to see who's going to separate themselves from a really, really good group. So we're ready to play somebody else. I will tell you that this week's practice, this timing of this is really good because with summer and the fall and now, we're ready to start playing somebody else. One of the things that you guys, and I tell you this every year, and it's just true, we don't know that much about what we're going to look like until we get going against somebody else. We just won't know. We have our first opening scrimmage against UAB in a close scrimmage situation. Obviously, we won't be reporting scores or stats or things like that. And we do a really good job of trying to, because by rule, you're supposed to keep those results quiet, and we'll do that as best we can. But we will get a barometer over where we are, because I'll tell you that UAB would be a team that would come in, and I think they would finish, out of 14 teams in the SEC, they'd finish 7th or 8th, which would make them a potential NCAA tournament team. And it's not I would think that's a compliment to a team out of that league. That's how good I think they are. And they were an NCAA tournament team last year. So last year when we went up there, we had a very good barometer for where we were at that time. So I think it'll be all we can handle.
How was the competition at the 4 so far between Jalen and Traore and anybody else working in that?
I mean, Jalen and Yo are head to head. You know, Dylan and John I are head to head. You know, Stretch is close. I mean, it's really good depth.
Bruce, you mentioned the going down for the surgery. What was like the travel like for that, and then both like coming and going, like what you maybe learn about him that you wouldn't have learned?
That's a great question. He's just a great guy. He's a great young man. He turned 20 today, so he's not the youngest freshman I've ever coached, but he's a great kid. He's humble and hungry, appreciative, respectful, bright, intelligent, wants to be coached. Glad he's here.
Coach, you seem to get those hungry and intelligent and guys that are humble at the same time. That seems to be like the personality. So how do you do such a good job of landing that type of player consistently?
I think that we don't worry about the number of stars in front of their name. We don't worry about what scouting services say. Some of our guys are fairly well rated, but some of them aren't. I think we're really honest to them in the recruiting process. I mean, character and culture, it matters. I can tell you that in the last 2 years, we have recruited more top players than I have in my whole career, and I've lost most of them. We've got a couple, but I've lost most. I've never been said no to in like this much ever. And it's wearing me out, quite frankly. But the ones we're getting are that way. They're hungry and humble. They want to be coached. They want to win championships. They want to be great teammates. And I think part of the reason why I've lost some of them is because I won't promise them their spot. I'm going to promise them their opportunity. And so I bet you we've lost a bunch of kids because I've just not done a great job recruiting them because I've not told them what they want to hear because I got to coach them.
Bruce, you mentioned, I think last couple times we talked about putting pause on the practice facility and focus on the NIL.
Yeah.
Where's both at right now?
Yeah, you know, my messaging is important, and the NIL is very important to where intercollegiate athletics is right now. Auburn has a chance to be a leader in that, and we're an everything school, and so we need NIL across the board. But you know, the donors, and you know, there's only so many marketing dollars, and there's only so much out there. So when I have an opportunity, the one thing I can confirm is how important something is. That's it, and that's what I've done. And I also want to send a message too, though, that when we do build the new practice facility, I want to do it right. I don't want to rush into something and not have a great facility. We need it. We need one. I mean, the other day I couldn't practice till 5 o'clock. You know, last week I was practicing 4:30. Seems like we've been in the practice gym more than ever. But the good news is our volleyball team is terrific and they're doing great, and we're trying to keep them on the main floor as much as we possibly can in the preseason. But I got to tell you, I've seen the main floor, about a dozen times this whole fall. But
Last question for Coach.
With Al out for a little while, and with Chance, out right now, it seems like Chris has gotten a ton of more opportunities.
Yep.
How's he been doing? You said earlier that he had a great summer. How's that carrying into practice?
He did. He had a great summer. He did have a great summer, and there's been some carryover, but he's getting pushed by Lior. He'll get pushed by Al. Chance will be back in a few weeks, and so it'll probably be a moving target. But at the end of the summer, Chris was right there, having a chance to start the position. He's still right there. And again, I think that you'd go to say that I would say that 2 out of the 5 spots, I know who's going to start right now. 2 out of the 5 means 3 spots are still open. Okay.
Thanks for
All right, guys. Thanks.